We are live on ShaggyTV for a little Wild Wednesday here at the USA International Speedway for the Cenex Short Track Series Championship. I don't know why a Cenex Short Track Series in there. I have been adding series. We're going to watch this magically disappear, and then we're going to see what it really is supposed to be here. I'll write in the correct word. There we go. I mean, come on. That is definitely what SSTC stands for. I can't believe I've flubbed that long, but hey, we're going to get ready to go racing here. In Florida, should be a good one. I think we've got 100 laps here this evening, so buckle up tight, man. Go get that drink. Pop your popcorn. You got a little bit of time before we go out here and commence for playtime. A little over 3 minutes. Let's see here if I can. Now, Keith Kincaid, I believe he didn't get the double. Scott Tice, I believe, won on the dirt side. This man in the 24. Keith Kincaid won on the asphalt side as you're watching Scott Tice and Brett McCoy battle a little bit here. Here comes the flaming hot Cheeto of Keith Kincaid. And it's going to be one of those things here tonight. I don't think we're going to see much passing on the outside. Now, right now, you can see up in all the marbles. And the rear end gets a little squirrely here. You don't want to get up in that, man. That is collected all practice, and that is in the no-no zone. You go up there, you get dirt on those, I mean, right sides even, just 2 of them. But if you get all 4 up there, good luck, good night. I mean, you're going to lose a spot or 2. It's going to be tough to drive up in there and, you know, actually try to get a pass done. The outside, Ed Papineau, excuse me. Currently the man in P3, the driver of the 01. If you're out there watching tonight, feel free to yell at me in the chat box. You know the drill by now. If I am a little too quiet or so on and so forth, cars are a little too loud. You know me, man. I'm excuses. I'm full of them. But going from dirt to asphalt all the time, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to keep up with here. Happy's going to pull in off the racetrack, and we've got a little over a minute here now, exactly a minute until we wrap up practice. Did you see McCoy? He got way up there. He gets it to stick there on the corner entry. I was really anxious to see how it handled the next corner after running that high. You could see it had grip. It didn't get too loose, so it wouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's definitely, you can see the right rear wanting to come around. But he's probably doing a lot of that himself, honestly, purposefully, with some brake. And trying to just manipulate that car around with less wheel, a little more brake. And that's definitely going to be one of the tricks here as we get ready to roll into qualifying here. Checkered flag is going to wave on warm-ups, and we're going to get ready to go. 12 drivers this evening. I don't know how many they had Monday night, and obviously, you know, by now we're going to do the replay from Monday night after this. So after the asphalt racing is complete, we are not complete. Make sure you stick around here. We'll have plenty more. See who's going to be out on the racetrack first, though. I'm surprised Andy Patton isn't out there. He knows how I work. He's sitting still right now. He knows if he gets out there first, he's going to be the one on that camera. It's not him. He waited a little bit. It's going to be Chris Farmer here first, but they're close. You can see Andy really dogging it here. Chris Farmer trying to heat up those tires. You can see him dragging the brakes, yanking it all around, giving it a lot of wheel. We watch the 54 roll around here. Purple sector 1, you expect that here. First guy going around. Now let's see if he can get a purple. That'd be nice. He does. The Farmer going to be default quick time here. Let's see what it is. 21.68. We'll show you. We'll try to turn that off gaps once I can find my slider bar to get over. There we go. We'll see what lap Tim Chapman puts in here the first time around. 37th got the 37, excuse me, got third last week. Right now, P2 as we see Ed Papineau. Purple sector 1, green sector 2, the 01. Ed Papineau, P2. Final time around, not able to get to the Farmer, but a pretty good lap. Andy Patton coming home 5 out of 5. Rob Cassidy looking for a big improvement here for the final time around in the 68 machine. Rob comes in this time. Going to stay P4 as let's go ahead. Flaming Hot Cheeto out here. He's purple sector 1. We know what's coming here. Let's see. Act surprised as the Flaming Hot Cheeto crosses the line. Purple. Quick time for Keith Kincaid. 21.52. The Flaming Hot Cheeto. Flexing it here. Yellow sector 1. Oh, gets a little slideways on the entry to 3. He's not going to improve this time, but I'll tell you, Chris Reinold might. 5th first time, green sector 1. Green sector 2, the 71 machine. Not going to improve his spot. Does improve the time. But now Frank Barbary. Going to knock him down a peg here. Frank Barbary in the 26. P5 here on lap number 1. Final time around for the 26. Barbary going to stay P5 as we find Joe Canellas here as he wraps up lap number 1. What's the lap time looking like here for the 1K of Joe Canellas? 7 out of 10 as Brett McCoy jumps up to second. The 36 machine. Can he improve here? Sector 1 going to slow down. The 36 needs to find a 1/10 of a second here if he wants to find pole. The 36 of Brett McCoy not going to do it here. He's going to stay P2 as Joe Canellas comes around for the final time. He improves, but he stays P9. And right now, Scott Tice, only driver to not put in a time. He's only got a minute left, so I seriously doubt he's going to be able to do that. And we'll go ahead. We'll shut everything down here, refresh everything. And we'll find out together if that is too early to refresh when I bring up the starting grid. Or I should say after I bring up the starting grid. The starting grid never stacks. Just the leaderboard. Who knows? Frankly, who really cares as long as it's working come race time? Let's see there. I'll give you the time back. 7 seconds there now. 2. We'll see the checkered flag wave. Or no, we won't at the end of qualifying. That's right. We'll wait. Gonna get ready to go racing here. Do they have a Warm up? No, just straight to racing. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for your 100 laps here at the USA International Speedway for your Senex Short Track Championship. Wild Wednesdays rounding out the field. Row 6 to the outside, the 24 of Scott Tice. To the inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row 5 to the outside, the 68 of the Boss Man, Rob Cassidy. To the inside, the 1K of Joe Canellas. Row 4 to the outside, the Rhino in the 71, Chris Reinold. To the inside, the 26 of Frank Barbary. Row 3 to the outside, the 37 of Tim Chapman. To the inside, the 01 of Ed Papineau. Row 2 to the top shelf, the 54 of the Farmer, Chris Farmer. To the inside, the 29 of Glenn Stanley. Row 1 for your 100-lap feature here at the USA International Speedway. To the high side, the 36 of Brett McCoy. And starting on the pole, the Flamin' Hot Cheeto of Keith Kincaid. I should say the Flamin' Hot Cheeto in the 17 machine. I forgot to say his damn number, but you know that guy. You know his number by now. Don't kid yourself. Every single one of us know that number by now. I mean, he's used to finishing up front. That's what he's been good at here. And let's see, we should do 2 laps, I think. I don't think we're going this time. We are indeed not going this time. So we'll enjoy the view down the front stretch one more time before the boys go play. You know, last week, opening laps got a little aggressive, so we'll have to see if they maybe, you know, toned it down a little bit, turned the dial back here for this one. Maybe we'll get some green flag laps in to start this thing and really make the guys who, you know, can't save those tires pay for it here. As we roll into turn 3 for the final time. The Flamin' Hot Cheeto watches the pace car dive off. The green flag's high. It's ready to fly. 100 laps to play here at the USA International Speedway. Glenn Stanley with a rough start there. Jumps to the inside. Maybe didn't want to slide up in front of anyone, or possibly just wants to roll in the back here. Try to save his stuff as we watch him fan out here. Single file all over the racetrack. As the Barbary slips up, or Frank Barbary slips up a little bit here. Rob Cassidy taking a peek on that 68. Can't do it. Falls back in line. The RKM Setup Shop 26 machine continues to plug away here. Battle on for 4th here as Tim Chapman almost got a run here. Gonna maybe drive it in deep, slides up the racetrack a little bit. You just don't want to slide that right front here too early. Gets a little loose coming off the corner. Now here comes the Rhino. Can he stick his horn in? Chris Reinold right there on the back of the 37. But just can't really mount a run here right now. I mean, you don't want to use your stuff up, as I mentioned. Long way to go here, so just got to ride, you got to wait here, and that's what the Rhino's doing. See the boys up front. Brett McCoy keeping pace with your leader here. Not letting him get away, but definitely not close enough to kind of make that strike here if he'd want to. But maybe for now, Brett just kind of let the car come to him here, enjoying this patience that, like I say, we didn't have last week. And that was really weird there. I could have swore maybe it's a green. Okay, they're green that just look yellow to me. with maybe the nighttime. That threw me off. I saw those lights there going on the front stretch. I thought they were yellow. I was like, we don't have any caution flags waving anywhere that I see. And right now, I don't know if it plans to stay that way. Joe Canella's here thinking about taking a peek on the inside. Couldn't do it. Rob Cassidy going to get that run in. Slam the door shut. Drops back to the bottom. And Joe going to have to ride and wait as the 24 Scott Tice on the slip and slide here in the back. This is a guy who we expect to run towards the front here. And the 24 Scott Tice really struggling at the moment. As we ride along with your leader here, we'll see what's going on behind him. McCoy still hanging out around that half a second mark. Was a little closer the last time we checked in, but still within that second. Not really going to worry too much at this point in the game. I mean, it's not worth overdriving or anything of that sort right now. And I think the best example we're really seeing of that is the 71 machine. He is really close to that 37. Tim doing his best to play defense. And the 71 having to respect that here. You know, you can't go for the big send. You don't want to tear up your stuff. I mean, Glenn, the last thing Glenn wants to do is, you know, have to repair another race car. I mean, Mr. Stiers, he's got all sorts of rides up there in Canada, and I'm sure that bill can look pretty big at the end of the month. So he don't want to have to fix up no other race cars here, and I think, well, the Rhino may be feeling that pressure here as the laps wind. Oh, they're beating a little bit here in the back. Scott Tice looking under the general, Andy Patton. Andy in that 87 machine, just going to roll that outside. He almost gets into the wall, gets into those marbles. And like I was talking about earlier, you just don't have that grip then. And, I mean, that'll get you into some serious trouble. Chris Farmer rolling around right now in that final podium spot, and he's got to be feeling pretty good. I mean, Pappy, he's in the mirror, but he's a little bit back, you know, about half a second or so, maybe a little more, but now Farmer misses the bottom. You can see there coming off at 2. That allows the 01 to reel him in a little bit. The Rhino thinking about sticking that horn in there one more time, just can't do it as he is all over the back of the 37 machine. See Tim pick up that throttle and maybe open up that wheel a little earlier, gets closer to the outside wall. It should be a little easier on those tires as long as he's not sliding them up the racetrack. But the 71, on the other hand, here, we're watching Reinhold. He's really having to kind of rotate this thing down as you see Ed Papineau make the move for third. Oh, I jinxed him. Got a little loose coming off of 2. Couldn't find the Mo. And had to fall back in line here, and that allows Tim and Chris, and who is that? Frank Barbary behind. Starting to reel these guys in. Is the Farmer gonna have a little help here as they're plowing their way down the backstretch? Ed Papineau right there one more time, gonna send it in. Happy to the bottom here. Ed Papineau takes P3 at the line. The 01 looking fine here. 18 laps complete. Ed Papineau started 5th, up to 3rd. Good improvement here for the 01 machine as Scott Tice started 12th, only up to 10th here. Like I say, we expect a run out of that 24 machine. We'll have to see. And another guy up 2 spots is the Rhino. But as we mentioned, Tim Chapman not letting him around, and you can't blame him. Tim right now reeling in the car ahead of him. So, I mean, feeling himself at the moment. These two may have to put on a move here together as they reel in that 54. Papano starting to lose touch here with that 54. You can see Farmer falling off the pace ever so slightly here. And man, that is not what you want here. If you're the 54 already, you can see him sliding up, coming out of the corners. And I'm telling you, if you are struggling like that here on lap 22, it may be a long night for you as the 36 of Brett McCoy 1 second back of the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, Keith Kincaid, on an absolute tear here in Lakeland, Florida. Glenn Staley, we saw him drop to the back to start this thing, or somewhat towards the back. I'm not sure if, Tice had gotten around him or not, as we saw Tice kind of cling into the back. But Staley has made up some spots, had fallen back to at least 10th, got himself up to 8th here. Overall, it's going to show him a negative on the board. But, I mean, he pulled out of the way right away. Now we're seeing these three, man. Hey, I told you, Tim reeling in the Farmer here, thought about making the move, didn't do it. But Chris slides up the racetrack, giving the 37 the bottom. Here comes the Rhino right behind. Tim Chapman up the 4th place move. Reinhold up the 5th. Here's the Farmer, loses 2 in turns 1 and 2. And now he looks up in the mirror here. He sees the 26 as he almost gets into the back of the 71. Frank Barbary here. He knows he's got to go. Glenn Staley reeling him in from behind. And Glenn, I mean, he's got to be feeling confident. He took it easy in the beginning, fell to the back here, and now he's just driving his way through, slicing and dicing as we're on lap 27. We are over a quarter of the way through. Glenn floating up to the outside here, using up all the racetrack, dives down to the bottom, and that is absolutely what you want to see. I mean, look at how smooth he is on the wheel. No jerking, just real. I mean, oh, there you see, even had to turn right. Maybe gives himself a little bit of a big brake jab and almost loses that thing, but good grab there for the 29 of Glenn Stanley. As we check up on our leader, this guy, 1.5 seconds up the road, in case you were wondering. Brett McCoy running P2. Ed Papano rounding out the podium for the time being. Tim Chapman in 4th. As you see Rob Cassidy getting to the inside, he's a lap down. Reinhold going around as well. They were 3 wide for a moment. As Glenn Stanley looking to the outside of the 26 of Frank Barbary, but couldn't get the run off the corner, had to fall back in line. And like I say, I don't know if we're going to see many passes on the high side get done tonight, but that 29 sure as heck going to try. To the outside he goes. Not going to do it. Maybe an over-under as Frank Barbary shuts the door. Frank the Tank just not going to leave him any room here, and you can't blame him. The 29 of Glenn Stanley is going to have to work for this thing here as we take a look. Reinhold trying to reel back in this 37 machine. They went around the 54 at the same time, but the 71 just hasn't been able to pull away like we've seen the 37 and the 01 machine do, as Reinhold may be feeling the wear and tear of, trying to set up Tim Chapman all those laps. He was really running that bottom coming off the corner. And we see the battle behind. Glenn Stanley finally gets a nose underneath. Just can't get the run off of 2. Is he going to slam her in there? Frank the Tank shuts the door. And boy, oh boy, Frank, he is gonna make that 29 use up everything he's got here, as we are on lap 34. See McCoy there working around the lap car of Andy Pat. Andy doing a good job of just getting high and out of the way. Ed Papineau running all by himself here in third is... Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at here Brett, Ed, and Tim's laps. These past couple times you can see Brett McCoy has been the fastest car on the racetrack. All 5 of the previous laps here, as we'll watch him come around one more time. But very consistent there for Brett with the 22 O's. And now if we click on Brett, let's just show you what Keith is running. Now Keith is running those around the 21.90. It had a 22.1 a couple laps ago. Bit of a slip up there for Keith. This is back in the 21.9s, and you can see, I mean, he is not light years, faster than everyone. It is just that constant 10th of a second there for Keith Kincaid that, I mean, they add up the laps here. I mean, when you're racing, anybody who's a fan of racing, you know that a 10th of a second, I mean, that is a lifetime over the span of 100 laps, doing that every time around. And right now, the Flamin' Hot Cheeto absolutely feeling himself out front. Chris Farmer maybe coming back with a peek here as you see Glenn Stanley. He's got some damage to that right front now. Not too sure what happened to Glenn. Definitely some hard contact here. And oh, man, the Rhino gets muscled to the outside here. He's going to lose one to the Farmer, and here comes the 29 machine. Can Glenn Stanley wine and dine the 71? He does. He gets on by, and here comes Joe Canellas in the 1K. Oh, Rob Cassidy gets in the wall in front of your leader here. Keith Kincaid struggling to get around as Brett McCoy continues to roll around in second. Andy Patton right behind him. Ed Papineau, Tim Chapman. You see Farmer feeling some pressure here from the 29 of Glenn Stanley. Glenn continues to take peeks here, trying to find a run underneath here as we ride off the right side of Glenn Stanley. Let's see what he's got here for the 54 machine. The 54, oh boy, you see, nailed the throttle timing, slides up the racetrack. Now he's working the right front tire, sliding it like that, but didn't have to lift. But here we go, Glenn Stanley muscles underneath. Where there's a will, there's a way, and Glenn Stanley powers himself back into the top 5. Tim continues to roll around in fourth, about 11 seconds behind your race leader. Keith Kincaid, Ed Papineau close to 10 seconds behind, and Brett McCoy 3 seconds back of the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, who just crossed the line and put us on lap 46 here. We are almost halfway, ladies and gentlemen. This may go in a flash here. So if you got to go to the bathroom, I'm telling you, go now. We're going to have the checkered flag here before too long. At the pace this Flamin' Hot Cheeto is rolling, man. Ain't nobody going to stop the 17 here tonight. Frank Barbary trying to get a run here on the 71 machine. Can he do it? Reinold shuts down the bottom here. You see Barbary trying to power a move, get a run, take a peek underneath. That's exactly what he does. The Rhino muscled to the outside. Chris Reinold starting to struggle here on near 50-lap-old tires. As there's your leader coming down the front stretch at the same time. Keith Kincaid. Man, oh man, this pace is unbelievable here for the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. I mean, I'm not going to say the word. I'm not going to say it. I will not be the jinx. But boy, oh boy, there are going to be a bunch of people upset if, one of them do come out here. Because he is going to be putting a lot of the field a lap down. If they don't figure something out here soon, as Scott Tice, a guy who I would have picked to finish up in the podium here tonight, struggles in the back, almost 18 seconds behind your leader. I meant to click the mute button on my headset. We had music for a quick minute. That was embarrassing. Everything all good here. And we are at the halfway point. We are on lap 51, 50 laps completed. As the Flamin' Hot Cheeto comes down the front stretch, puts us on lap 52, man. This is, I'm telling you, I did not think we were going to be in for this quick of a ride. And I miss Glenn Stanley getting by that 37 machine. He's able to punch Tim back to 5th place here. Glenn Stanley has reeled in the 01 of Ed Papineau. And Glenn Stanley, after falling to the back here, is battling for 3rd. The 29 machine clips the bottom, holds on to it, man. That is not easy. You clip that apron, it is easy to go around. Good hands there by the 29, who moves himself up into P3. See the General Andy Patton right behind this 36 machine. He's on newer tires here, but, I mean, he's at the point where, hey, this is kind of, let's learn something here. I know I'm on newer tires, but let's see what line these guys are running. Let's see how I am on the wheel. Let's see if Shaggy will pull me up and, talk about my wheel inputs. And you can just see giving it a lot more wheel, like sawing it back and forth, and maybe let's go to this man just so you can see the difference, because this will give you their wheel inputs. It is all about being smooth. One quick jerk in, get it there, smooth. It's not sawing back and forth. It is about being smooth. Every extra wheel input you have, you are going to be feeling that as we go. And there you can just see jerk, 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 saw, sawing it back, going back, saw. And it's those little things that I'm telling you. The General, he's used to whipping around a sprint car, man. He knows what he's doing there. And it won't be long till he knows what he's doing over here as Keith Kincaid puts the Farmer a lap down. Ed Papineau coming down pit road. Reinold coming down pit road as well. Uh-oh. Guys using up all that rubber, needing a green flag pit stop. That is not good here at the USA International Speedway. And I think we may have some other guys here getting ready for a showdown as Joe Canellas has run down the 37 machine of Tim Chapman. Can the 1K get around here? He works to the bottom. He's got Frank Barbary behind him. Tim gets out of the way here, not going to put up a fight here as he knows he's just got to try to kind of latch on. Got a long way to go here, 40 laps, and Frank Barbary now going to work to the inside of the 1K. Frank Barbary making it look easy here, moves himself into P4 as Glenn Stanley enters turn 1 here, about a straightaway ahead of those guys. Shouldn't be feeling too much pressure here for that final podium spot, as long as he can keep this pace and hang on. But here we go with the leader, Keith Kincaid, As we approach more lap traffic, Tim Chapman gets low out of the way. Tim Chapman maybe diving down pit road here, as it indeed looks like the 37 is coming down pit road. And that is going to put him a couple laps down, as he was just going a lap down. Scott Tice, another driver there, pulling out. The Flamin' Hot Cheeto is going to come down pit road. He doesn't need to do this. I'm telling you right now, he does not need to pit. I seriously doubt they need fuel. It's going to play a game here. He's going to pit and see if he can run down this 36 machine. And I'm all about playing games, Keith. Boy, oh boy, this is a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for the Flamin' Hot Cheeto coming down pit road. Brett McCoy, last time by, 23.57. His best lap this race, you're wondering? 21.57. What's that fall off? Can you do that math? Pretty easy. 2 seconds. He is 2 seconds a lap slower right now than he was when we kicked this thing off, as he just put the Flamin' Hot Cheeto a lap down. Keith Kincaid trapped the lap down. If a caution were to fly right now, he would get the lucky dog. But they would be in front of him after the pit stop here, those leaders. But now gets himself back on the lead lap, and McCoy has a serious decision to make. He's 2 seconds a lap slower right now. That is about, obviously Keith will fall off too, but he'll catch him, I think, in about 20 laps. That puts us at about lap 86. So I think McCoy, he's at the point where he needs a caution flag. Just needs to hold on, hope for a caution flag, and that Keith will pit and get new tires again too, or maybe even not pit. And all of a sudden, Brett is sitting there third or fourth with brand new tires here as Keith Kincaid works under the general Andy Patton. We'll find your third place runner right now, Joe Canellas. This is the battle for second, was the battle for second, as the 1K pulls down pit road. Keith Kincaid back up into third after the green flag pit stop here. But let's see how far. Oh, of course we can't. I don't have the blimp static view. Wanted to see if I could get a super zoomed out view of the track. But I don't have one. My apologies, just to see how far he's behind. And you can see on the leaderboard 17 seconds. It's about, almost 3/4 of the racetrack here is, he gets a second back just while I'm talking. It's down to 16.2. And while I continue to talk, he's going to get another second. It is down to 15. Keith Kincaid right now, ladies and gentlemen, you are just playing in this man's sandbox right now. If he wanted to take all of the toys and go home, that is exactly what the 17 would do here. Oh, man, this is unbelievable. McCoy finally going to come down pit road, but a little too late there for McCoy, as Keith had already caught him, and Keith may lap him now, as it will be pretty close here. And Keith Kincaid, 3 seconds behind your leader, Frank Shrimp on the Bobby, who is coming down pit road. That gives Keith Kincaid the lead. And oh my gosh, what did I just witness here at the USA International Speedway? Is Brett McCoy coming off of 4. There's your leader. McCoy and Stanley running second and third. They are right up the road from your leader, Keith Kincaid. Maybe having the rest of the field do 99 laps here at the USA International Speedway. What he is doing right now is just absolutely phenomenal. As the man to pit first kind of force all this. I want to see what's going on. Well, in the 50s anyway. Ed Papineau, he's got himself in 4th. Started 5th. Last time by, Brett McCoy just ran the fastest lap of the race. A 21.50. So he is going to just drive the absolute you-know-what out of this thing here. He is trying to milk it for all it's got. As he's working up to running down here, the 29 of Glenn Stanley. Glenn Stanley, this is going to be a what could have been race here for him. Maybe, just wants to get a little more comfortable. Drop to the back. But, man, if he doesn't drop to the back there in the beginning and waste time fighting with guys and get that damage on the right front that he had earlier, he's 17 seconds behind right now. That probably cost him a good 5 to 10 seconds, messing around there. And boy, oh boy, this is going to be a what could have been here for the 29 as Keith Kincaid brings us down the backstretch here. We have 25 laps to go. 24 this time by here in Lakeland, Florida. See if we got any battles here on the racetrack. Tim Chapman and Chris Farmer, and Scott Tice. These three are for position. Nothing really happening here at the moment. It's the 54 machine of Chris Farmer. He pit on lap 59. Tim 60, Scott Tice 58. So virtually all right there in the same ballpark with tire wear. As the general Andy Patton gets out of the way of the 24. Keith Kincaid inches closer here to the man in 4th place. Ed Papineau is in the middle of the backstretch here. He is Keith Kincaid's next target. Brett McCoy, he's got the newest tires here out of, really anyone. Latest to come down pit road. Not going to have time, nor the pace, I don't believe, to catch the leader here, but may have a chance to do something here. As there's 21 laps to go for these guys. Plenty of time here at the USA International Speedway. McCoy may have to use that chrome horn, though. Stanley has a little mess up there, gets off the bottom, lets him go by here. Stanley knows, hey, McCoy, newer tires. He may have the pace to just get on by. I'll let him go, see if I can hang with him, maybe make a run at him with a couple laps to go, as that's what Stanley was great at on the opening run. Chris Farmer trying to work around that 37 machine. Chapman has lost touch with Tice here. Can Farmer find a way to get around here? Maybe reel in that gap a little bit. There's the 54 all over the tail tank, but just can't build up the run. And there's 17 laps to go. Brett McCoy trying to reel himself away. That's not the way to say that. Let's see here. Trying to escape the grasp of the 29. We can go with that here. Just trying to lengthen that gap. Has it about 0.8. Stanley going to be quicker towards the end of this run. Well, maybe not quicker out of those two cars, but just he's got the long run pace. He showed us that on the opening run. And you've really got to expect that here from him once again, as we're down to 15 laps to go. We are single file all over this racetrack. These boys, let's be honest here. I don't know if we've had one go flag to flag here, and I don't know if I was expecting it here at USA. You get muscled to the outside, you need to get back down to the bottom. But these guys, they have put on a show here. This has been something to watch. As Frank Barbary rolls around there, P5. He's running behind Joe Canella's, not for position. Just got himself comfortably there inside the top 5. As Scott Tice, that man in 6th, he is a ways back. And Tim Chapman here. Oh, you see Chris Farmer slam it off the backstretch wall coming off the 2. He is trying to use up everything to get by this 37 machine. Brett McCoy, he's got to play nice here, but he doesn't want to waste time. He doesn't want to allow Glenn to reel him back in here. So that 36 here, he's going to have to tightrope this thing. Has to find a way around these 2 lap cars, even though they are battling for position. That's a smart move here by the 54. If he can line up on the back of the 36 and maybe catch Tim off guard, he could find a way to work around the 37 of Tim Chapman. For the time being, going to hold his line here. I think he's going to try to get out of the way of the 36 there. He's going to go low for him, then realize, hey, he's down there, moves up. Now the 54 of Farmer, can he do what I was talking about? Tim hard into the outside wall here. Not too sure if something on that right front's broken, but that does not look healthy here. Big shot for the 37. And Keith Kincaid sees all this out the front end here. 9 laps to go. He just wants this thing to come to a close here. As Keith Kincaid rolls it into 3, Brett McCoy able to clear that nonsense a while ago. Glenn Stanley here, he's gotten by Tim. Ed Papineau, he's back there in 4th, and you see Frank Barbary back here in P5 as we'll go to Tice 6th. Chris Farmer 7th, Tim Chapman 8th, Andy Patton currently running 9th, the Rhino rounding out the top 10, Joe Canella's 11th, and Rob Cassidy rounding out the field here currently in that 68 machine as Keith Kincaid drives on by. 6.5 laps to go as we go down the backstretch. The Flamin' Hot Cheeto, I mean, just a Flamin' Hot race for the 1-7. I don't even know. I'm going to be anxious to ask him if he even had to pit, if it was just, well, I mean, maybe he had to for the sheer reason of those guys may have caught him on time, didn't want to play the game, wanted to be safe here. And either way, 5 laps to go. Keith Kincaid going to safely bring this home, because that man is in 2nd right now, Brett McCoy, and without a caution flag, this man is going to have to be content here with riding P2. As Glenn Stanley not really able to reel him back in like I thought he might. Glenn Stanley, still a quick race car here in those closing laps, but definitely not that first run strength that he had as Keith Kincaid comes by. 3 laps to go. Ed Papineau running in 4th there, currently right in front of your leader here. Will he be able to stay on the lead lap? The 01 of Ed Papineau. Last thing he wants to do is go a lap down to the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, man. You do not want to go a lap down here. Not under green flag, no way. And Ed gonna do what he can here to try to hold off Keith, who's got 1.5 more trips around the USA International Speedway. As he rolls through turns 3 and 4, we're gonna see the white flag wave. 1 lap to go for the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. Keith Kincaid rolled in here on the pole, and you knew it was going to be his to lose. It stayed green, and the 17 machine looks to pick up the checkered flag once again here in the Cenex Short Track Championship, this time at the USA International Speedway, as we wait for P2, Brett McCoy. Here he comes. Brett McCoy second, Stanley third, and Ed Papineau coming home fourth. Final car on the lead lap here tonight. And let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the final finishing order here. Let's see. Can I get race results to pop up? There we go. You saw your top three there. Ed Papineau fourth, Barbary fifth, Scott Tice sixth, Chris Farmer seventh, Tim Chapman eighth. The Rhino coming home ninth. Joe Canellas rounds out the top 10. And your final two, Rob Cassidy and Andy Patton, round out your field here. And I'll tell you, flag to flag, what more can you ask for? I'll tell you, nothing as a broadcaster, because there's no chance that I have to restart, the interview camera. I mean, if I can't get all these interviews done in 100 laps, I mean, to hell with me. I don't know what I'm doing. And now we're going to see that opening lap here from Glenn Stanley, who he did. He just lifted. He fell to the back. You see, Tice didn't go around. That was one of the guys who I thought maybe he didn't go around. I saw him hang out at the back. But Glenn Stanley takes the drop to the back strategy in a flag-to-flag race, man, and brings it home. E3 here. So let's see. Can I pull him up here? As I got your third place finisher here, Glenn. Hey, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, I'll tell you, Glenn. It was a head scratcher there on lap one. You dropped to the inside, and I understand why. We've had some contact in this series for sure, but man, we go flag to flag tonight, and you had to race your way back to the podium. I mean, how hard was that to do?
Well, I got to give credit to it was a good setup and a good track. I enjoy this track a lot, and I didn't run the first week, and I just wanted to get a better understanding of who I was driving against. I hadn't heard nothing about any bad driving or anything that might have happened in the week before, so I just wanted to get back there and kind of earn my way to the front, show these guys, hey, look, I'm gonna run clean. I had one incident with I think it was the 26 car where I got under him. He came down, he got loose, and I rode up enough to where I think I got him saved. Uh, I just want to give the guys respect, but also want to earn that, hey, look, this guy's going to run us clean to make passes. So I just want to make a statement like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, Gordon, that's exactly what you did, man. You drove that thing up to the front, about near clean as a whistle. I mean, other than that right front damage, which you said, I mean, it occurred there. Not really much you could do about it. But, Glenn, I do have to ask here. I mean, most of the time, we go racing 100 laps. We got plenty of fuel. I saw everybody stop tonight, man. Is that because tire wear, or is it because of fuel?
Not sure why they started doing it, but I felt if you didn't do it, you would end up possibility of losing position. So when I went in, I took right sides and I took about 3 gallons of gas. And the reason for that was just to loosen the car back up with the new tire situation and kind of give the car balance. And that's why I did it. I can't speak for all the rest of the guys, but it was a good race and a fair run.
Well, hey, like I said, Glenn, man, you're the good luck charm here. You coming in flag to flag. I don't know if we've had this in the 2 seasons. Running flag to flag here, 100 laps is unbelievable. You guys put on a hell of a show, man. Pat yourself on the back. Congratulations on a great P3, man. You got anybody you want to thank?
Well, just want to thank the league and all the admins, and I want to thank the sponsors of the league, and I want to thank the broadcast booth for being here to broadcast that race. And we just appreciate what you do. Thank you.
Well, hey, you guys do all the hard work, man. I just get to talk about it. Hell of a run tonight, Glenn. Can't wait to talk to you again, man.
Thank you.
Glenn Stanley bringing home the P3, and now we're going to bring home, or bring, well, I mean, I guess I could say bring him home, as you know, I mean, this is tending to be a home here for Brett on the podium once again here. And boy, oh boy, I've got to ask you the same thing. I'm going to start off this with you, though, instead of waiting until forever like I did with Glenn. Was the pit stop there out of necessity? Did you guys need fuel, or did it just become a thing where I saw you guys were losing? I mean, almost 2 seconds a lap there towards the end of that tire run. Was it more out of just, hey, I need new grip?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we were a little short on gas, so at the start, I think I was about 2 laps short, and when Keith peeled off, I didn't have anything for him. When he peeled off, I felt like maybe I'll try to run this long, and it just went completely off the table. When I pitted, I was down to 4% on the right front tire. I don't know how he saves. This is not one of my best tracks, but man, he just flat took us to the woodshed tonight.
Dude, I'll tell you, Brett. I'm not kidding. Obviously, I sit up here broadcast. I try to act like I know what I'm talking about. So I ran that test race, you guys had 2 weeks ago, and I said to myself, well, I'll show Keith who the boss is here, and he proceeded to almost put me a lap down too in the race. I don't know how he does it, man, because I watched your in cars here tonight, and you and him. I mean, I was modeling after you too. You guys are so smooth on the wheel. I mean, where do you think he's beating you in that tire wear? I mean, any ideas at all? Because I've got none, Brett.
I don't know if he's trail braking a little. I try to do that, but I can't, I'm not very good at it. But I don't know if it's wheel offset or I don't know. It was impressive. Last week I was pretty good, and I've run with these guys a couple times before, and I've been able to stay with them, but man, not tonight. It was hats off to him. He gave it to us.
Yeah, and I mean, Brett, you've mentioned you've run here before. I'll tell you, I don't think we've gone 100 laps green flag before, man. So how are you feeling after a long race, man?
Oh, good. So we run. I run on a Monday night league, and we ran 200 Monday night at Irwindale in the super late. So this is a long run, but it's not all that unusual for me.
Well, hey, hell of a job tonight, Brett, coming home with the P2, back-to-back podiums, man. Something to give yourself a pat on the back for. You got anybody you want to thank before you get out of here?
Just, first and foremost, my wife that let me spend way too much on this rig and spend a couple nights a week away from her and the kids. And then, the guys that put the league on, it's a good time. So look forward to the rest of the year.
Yeah, you can thank your wife for that all you want, but never say a price because my wife doesn't know either. So let's
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Brett. Can't wait to talk to you again, man.
All right, take care.
Brett McCoy bringing home the P2, and now we're going to bring up the man of the hour here. This is unbelievable, Keith. I mean, I'll tell you the same thing I just told Brett, and I mean, I said it to my dad. I was like, I'm going to go in this practice race, the one you guys had 2 weeks ago. I said, I'll show Keith, what's going on. I said, I'll be able to hang with him. You dusted the wheels off me, man, and then you proceed to, I mean, Brett knows what he's doing. I mean, he's better than me, and you proceeded to do it one more time here. What was the trick here? I mean, you're just so light on that steering wheel corner entry. I mean, we followed you in cars sometimes. I mean, clearly tell you're trail braking. You kind of give it a quick counter steer to the right. But, man, how do you do it with such consistency? Lap in and lap out. I mean, dude, 100 laps green flag, no mistakes.
Yeah, Shaggy, that was a good run. I don't want to dig too far into my bag of tricks and give away the secret, but smooth is fast and fast is smooth.
Yeah, man, it really is unbelievable. Now, I've got a question for you here. Obviously, I'm hearing from some of the guys that when you started this thing, you were maybe a little short on fuel. So was there going to be a need for a pit stop, even if you didn't have that, 2-second tire fall off in lap times?
Yeah, definitely. We were about 2 laps short, so we were definitely going to have to take fuel. And luckily mine never did fall off that bad. I think it fell off to around a 22 flat, 21.9 at the longest run. But yeah, I mean, it's just I like this track.
Yeah, and I mean, we're gonna be no spoilers, but we're coming back here soon with the replay. And I mean, do we like it as much when she's covered in dirt, or do we like the asphalt more?
She's fun in both configurations.
yeah, I definitely. Turn one here is so much fun. You go down, almost clip that grass area, go down there, run at the bottom. I can't wait to watch you guys dig around there a little bit. But Keith, man, not very often, and I don't think I could ever say this to you before here. 100 laps green flag. I mean, when you strapped in tonight, there's no chance in where you thought we were going to run this thing flag to flag, did you?
Oh, no way. Especially after Martinsville. I know Martinsville's a tough track, and we had a ton of cautions. But I mean, the guys all drove with such respect, so smooth. You couldn't ask for a better group of guys to race with. But yeah, I thought there at the end when I took that green flag pit that I might be in trouble if I got caught out by a caution. And luckily we stayed green and was able to bring it home.
Well, when you go back, don't get mad at me, but I was trying to forecast that a little bit here to make it interesting. I said that. I was like, man, if a caution comes right now, he's stuck behind Brett. I said, he'll get the lucky dog, but, you would have been stuck there in fourth or whatever, final car on the lead lap tail end. And, man, that would have been interesting to watch you wheel that thing up through the field.
I tell you what, that's probably the longest 100-lap race I think I've ever ran. It just seemed like it just kept going and going.
Well,
waiting for that yellow flag to drop.
Oh, dude, you and me both. I mean, I finally figured it out. The green lights here look yellow. So at one point while I'm watching, I thought I saw yellow flag or yellow lights on the front stretch, but glad they didn't come, man. I'm glad you could take this thing home. 100 laps, flag to flag. Hell of a run here, Keith. You got anybody you want to thank?
I appreciate it, Shaggy. Yeah, I'd like to thank you. I don't know if I've ever thanked you for the broadcast, but I mean, everybody that I talk to that listens to these races, they are so thoroughly impressed with your professionalism and the excitement you bring to the race. I mean, even us racers have talked about, the race didn't seem that exciting, but when we watch you do the replay, you just bring out that magic. So, thank you for everything that you do.
Well, I mean, like I say, I wish I was up to that 17 drivers level here, but I'm one of those guys that when there is a little slip up, I know how hard it is to grab that thing and not wreck in front of the field. So, man, those little slip slides, you guys do all the excitement, man. I just get to talk about it. Hell of a run tonight, Keith.
Thank you, Shaggy. Yeah, I was joking around with Cal Adams, MRL, beforehand, and he was trying to get out there and turn a fast lap while we were in Discord and show us. And, he come up a little short too. So, maybe in a few years when he gets a little older, he can join the adults and play.
It's unbelievable, man. But Kyle knows some guys, and I'm telling you, if he could ever rope you into going over, Keith, you run with them. I'm telling you, I've broadcasted for some top dogs, and dude, you're there. Like you're there. Yeah, you could run any Pro Series event on this side of the asphalt stuff you had your mindset on. You're one of the best, man, and we're lucky to have you here.
Thank you, Shaggy, and thank Kyle for all that he does for Cenex and giving us this platform. I'm MRL. If anybody wants some good racing, like you said, those are some fast guys, and that's where you need to be if you think you've got it.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Definitely some of the best here. And well, Keith, hopefully we're talking to you again after the dirt side, man. Congratulations on a good run.
Thank you, Shaggy.
Keith Kincaid bringing home the win here at the USA International Speedway here, and we are going to take a quick break. We'll be right back on the dirt here at USA International Speedway. Stick around.
I'm Chris Jackimick, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. Throughout my military career, I spent the bulk of my career out in Las Vegas. It was the first job I had as I was protecting some sensitive resources out there at Nellis. I would deploy to Kuwait early on in my military career with with a larger weaponry system to support Operation Southern Watch. And then from 2003 to 2006, I was part of the emerging drone mission for the United States Air Force and Department of Defense. We were fighting the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan from our backyard. You'd be in war for 12 hours of your shift, and then you'd drive home to your apartment here in Nevada. So psychologically, it was very odd. Like, you felt you were in the combat zone every day because you were seeing it on the screens and it was that important, but I don't know what it did to the human psyche at the time. Some things would kind of happen in my personal life after that would change a lot. When Adam joined the Marine Corps, it was like it was a natural fit. Anybody who joins the military, especially after 9/11 happened, you're looking for that purpose. I think that's why he made the choice. It's like, let me go be a Marine. He was in between Fallujah and Ramadi during the heaviest parts of the fighting of the Iraq conflict. I mean, you hear guys like Jocko and everything talk about like the triangle of death. My brother was dead set in the middle of the triangle of death with a Marine unit. I think it changed him. Like, you look at everything across history, you read any of the books out there, war changes anybody that's been involved with it. Trauma or mass events like that changes anybody, and it really changed my brother. And I get that call. I get the text, actually, from my stepmom. I was like, I need you to call me as soon as possible. Something's wrong with Adam. All right. Didn't think anything of it. And I'm about to pull off the highway to go celebrate and have some pizza with my classmates, and she's like, Adam's dead. Adam's dead. He had died by suicide that day, 25th of July, 2017. And it changed my world forever.
I think that was the first time I saw or heard someone broken through the phone. There was a time where I was concerned that he wasn't going to make it. There were times I thought, we're going to have to camp out outside of his house, or we might get that phone call. Are we ready for that phone call?
I couldn't catch a break. A fellow first sergeant I served with, he had died by suicide. On the day of my buddy's funeral, I'm going through social media, and I see this, what appears to be a manifesto from one of my old airmen. My first thought was like, today's not going to be a good day. And sadly, my hunch was right. He had killed his own family and taken his own life on the day of my buddy's funeral. It was just compounding trauma after trauma after trauma. I cracked. I fell hard with alcohol. That was rock bottom. I first heard about Mission 22 just by like surfing the internet and looking on there and seeing some of the programs that they had available. I was like, something seems right about this. To be in a program like the R&R program with them and the innovative things that they're putting together, I have not seen in any other veteran nonprofit. It's putting all this stuff together to heal in the most effective way possible. They're making you do a lot of the hard work through reading, through audiobooks, through physical fitness, through nutrition, open discussion, critical thinking, neuroplasticity and cognitive feedback to where you're developing the brain more. It's given me a chance to regain my life. Cycling's been a big part of my recovery. Is around the time I retired a little over a year ago, I set forth as like, let me set this goal to ride 2,020 miles in 2020 for another veteran nonprofit that supports Gold Star families and those lost either to accident or to suicide. Every time I got on that bike, I was like, you know what? There's a name, there's a dash that I'm gonna honor today. Not the dates on the gravestone. Is like, I'm gonna honor that life. So it gave me purpose. And it just became like a release for me to where the pedals would spin and I would get out of my head for a little bit. Physically, I was starting to feel better. I could see the improvements, and I've tracked my data over the past year, and it's phenomenal on the growth that I've had on a bike.
He's just on a mission and is relentless about it. Every day he pushes it from you know, the loss of his brother and a number of different trauma that he had gone through in his life, it was absolutely critical for him to find something that he could sink his teeth into. I think he's taken the ball and run with it with Mission 22, especially the R&R, the recovery and resilience part. I think it makes him stronger in the person that he is today.
I don't know why I fell on the bike. It was just like, okay, it called to me, and then I kept going. So you know that scene from Forrest Gump where he just starts running one day and it ends up in Monument Valley in Utah? He's like, I'm tired, I think I'll go home now. I'm not tired yet. I'm not ready to throw the towel in like Forrest Gump did. I'm getting on that bike and I'm keeping on going because there's something about it. There's something about just getting out in nature, having that breeze in your face and seeing some of the beautiful landscape here in Las Vegas where it takes you away from the stressors and the challenges of the world for a little bit. And you can just appreciate the beauty that is out there and be in the moment. And then it got serious because the Air Force enrolled me in the Air Force Wounded Warrior program and it transformed into Lo and Behold training. If I do this well, maybe I can go represent the Air Force. Maybe my grief and everything in my entire story can come to fruition because I can put the energy into something positive. If I made the team, I'd just be overwhelmed with emotion. I suffered a lot of my trauma because of my military service. But at the end, it's like, I gotta be grateful that I'm allowed to compete in this because there are others who didn't make it home or lost the war at home that
Well, we are back here on Shaggy TV, not live. You know the drill. Race replay here for the pro late models. USA International Speedway. They ran these puppies on Monday night. And it looks like we had 10 drivers here as we'll get ready to go out and do a little qualifying here. The checkered flag waves on warm-ups. Should have 2 heat races, I'd think. 2 of 5. Or 2 with 5 drivers, I should say. Fumble my words here. Let's see who is the first guy. Pull out on the racetrack here. Ben Gunther here. BG and the double nickel here. Benjamin Gunther set to roll out on the racetrack here. Let's see what the 55 has. Lap number 1. Well, actually, because he screwed around there, you know how I do. I give it to the first person to start, and it's going to be Greg Parmalee. He motored that 04 around. He wanted the camera time here. And that Young Gun Creations 04 machine. Let's see what Greg Parmalee does. Lap 1, green, purple. 21.15, quick time for the 75 machine. AK 04 as we see if Craig Parmalee. Greg comes around second time here. He's not, or he does, no, doesn't improve. Runs the same time with a purple sector too. But Scott Tice does with a 21.07. Scott Tice looking nice here. Lap number 2 is, let's find Russell Harold here. His final time around. He's green. What's it mean? Slows down sector 2. Russell Harold. Not going to improve. Stays P5 as we watch the 1K of Joe Candelas. Wrap the bottom through 3 and 4. Joe going to try to have her scream to the line. Green, green. What's it mean? Joe Canella's lap number 1, P3 with a 21. 21. Blackjack all around here for the dog, Joe Canella's. As I'm not too sure why he's not wanting to show up correctly on yours. Let's refresh yours. He's showing up on mine. Very weird. There we go. Much better, Joe Canella's! Quick time! Joe Canella's with a 21. 05. As Keith Kincaid, purple, green. What's it mean for the Flamin' Hot Cheeto machine? Not going to improve. The 17 of Keith Kincaid stays fourth as the Rhino comes across for the final time. Chris Reinhold. P5, and in your top 5, Joe Canella, Scott Tice, Greg Parmalee, Keith Kincaid. And the Rhino, Chris Reinhold, his qualifying comes to a close here. And we'll get ready to take a look at the starting lineup here for heat race number 1. Actually, checkered flag's waving because his laps are. How much time? I'm a dummy. I've only done how many of these replays? Okay. Minute 28 seconds. What that means is we're going to go this. Weird. Fast forward this puppy. Still about right now. Shut her down like Detroit. Get ready to bring up this starting grid here for heat race number 1. Oh, and we should bring up the right logo, too. You know, we have one for... Like, come on, Shaggy. I mean, come on. Let's pull up the dirt one. Starting grid, heat race number 1. Rounding out the field, the double nickel of Ben Gunther. Row 2 to the outside, the 42 of Gary Offit. To the inside, the 71 of Chris Reinhold. Row 1 for heat race number 1 to the outside, the 75 of Greg Parmalee. And starting on the pole, the 1K of Joe Canella's. It really is unbelievable how these overstack on replays. There's not going to be a week that goes by this broadcast. I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'll bring up this overlay every time. You'd think, hey, you know, by now, I'm probably used to it. But it does. It blows my mind every freaking time. Oh, on the dirt side, I guess I have a spectator camera. Hey now. We're watching it from the front stretch. I wonder where Dale Earnhardt Jr. is. He's an Easter egg at every track. I don't know where Dale's located. This track, he's probably in the pit somewhere down there hanging out. Joe Canella's rolls down the backstretch. We hop up into the drone, man. See what kind of angles we can get from this drone here tonight. We roll into turn 3 for the final time. The green flag is set to wave. The green flag is high. She's ready to fly. 10 laps to play in the clay at the USA International Speedway. Heat race number 1 is underway. Good jump there for the 1K of Joe Canella's. Meanwhile, the Rhino tries to get a run on the outside. Can he make a run at Greg Parmalee? The answer's no, because Greg Parmalee trying to steal the show. Slide job. Gets into the 1K. Joe Canella's a good job backing off. Could have totaled his race car there, and if Joe Canella's ends up having a good run here tonight, that's the moment. That's the gotcha moment. That could have been real bad, sent him to the back here, but instead right now, He's still behind that 04 machine, but he's feeling it from Gary Offit. Gary rolling the bottom, can't get the run. Joe shuts the door. Joe Canellas with a great turns 1 and 2. You see him really pull away from Gary Offit in that 94 machine. Meanwhile, Greg Parmalee trying to do the same. 7 laps to go, 6/10 up the road. Reinhold, not too sure what happened to him, but he is on pit road. He's off the racetrack. The 55 of Ben Gunther struggles a little bit. He pushes up the hill. Joe trying to stalk this 94 machine, but the 75 of Greg Parmalee pulls away. And you know what? I'm going to call Parmalee if I can. The 04 I'm going to try to remember, and the 94 of Gary Offit. Because those are the numbers on the race car here tonight. Those are what I know him from in Coast to Coast as well, is the 04 of Greg Parmalee. Walks away with this thing. 5 laps to go. 1.3 seconds up the road is Joe Canellas. Oh boy, he's got a yanker down. Doesn't want to get her in the outside wall. And Gary Offit just rolling right there behind in third. It's a ways back though to the double nickel of Benjamin Gunther, who just now enters turn 4. Parmalee continues to lead here as he's running down. Chris Reinhold looks to have made it back out on the racetrack. That is the 71 of Reinhold. But with 3 laps to go, not going to have a chance to really make any spots here. As Reinhold indeed is 3 laps down. So as Parmalee continues to roll here, Joe Canellas running out of options here, just trying to hang on to P2. Gary Offit is a coming in this 42 machine. He is reeling him in, but does he have enough time here? Goes to the bottom, Joe to the outside here. They pull even. Canellas gets in the outside wall as I'm running on the nose. And Canellas falls back to third here. The 1K with 1 lap to go sees himself in third place. The man out front, Greg Parmalee, in the 04 machine, rolls down the backstretch for the final time. Into 3. He can see that checkered flag. Hell, he can taste it. Off of 4 for the final time. Give it to Greg Parmalee. Gary Offit second. Joe Canellas third. Ben Gunther fourth. And Chris Reinhold rounds out the field. I forgot, on the replays, for some reason, they don't want to give you the checkered flag. But it was the last lap. Take my word for it. I almost lost track there. As you can see there, Joe pulls down the pits. Still no checkered flag. That does suck about the replays. Wish there's something I could do or wish I could manually bring them up or something, but nothing I can do is what it is. Running out at row number 2, the 37 of Tim Chapman, row 2 to the outside. The 19 of Russell Harold to the inside, the 68 of Rob Cassidy. Row 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside, the 17 of the Flamin' Hot Cheeto, Keith Kincaid. And starting on the pole, 24 of Scott Tice. Let's see here. We'll refresh to unstack, but not only for you guys. Where did my logo go? Was my logo gone that whole time? It is still gone. Oh, no, there you go. It just popped back up for you guys. All right. Odd. Very odd. As we roll down the backstretch here for heat race number 2. I guess I didn't really think of doing this in the first time. Really, we could skip these pace laps. I always forget the benefits of doing this. This is pretty cool. So we got 10 laps to play here. Heat race number 2 set to be underway. Green flag waves. 10 laps to play. Terrible camera swap there as we finally click the right one. Russell Harold slides up the racetrack. The boss man, Rob Cassidy, not able to take a peek underneath. And Harold tries to reel in the front two as Russell gets that big run off the outside. Keith Kincaid trying to work by the 24. Scott Tice leading the way here with 9 laps to go as you see Tim Chapman reel in the boss man, Rob Cassidy. This is a battle for 4th here. They both roll the middle, though. Going to need somebody to mess up, and you're both running the same line. And Scotty Tice right now looking fine out front. 8 laps to go as Keith Kincaid trying to trim the grass there with the left front. Both drivers rolling that similar line here. Track not very beat up at the moment, so it's going to be pretty much hammered down. No slip and slide just yet. You're going to have to grip and rip here, go find it. And that means you're not going to get a lot of passing done. You really do need the guy to clip the wall, make a mistake here, jump that cushion like we just saw the 19 of Harold do, but nobody behind him to make him pay the price and lose the spot here. But right now, at this point in time, I mean, Keith is thinking exactly what I'm saying. I'm not getting by this guy unless he makes a mistake. I just have to be close enough right now to where if he makes a mistake, I'm A, not going to wreck him when he makes the mistake because I have enough time to react, and well, B, do I even want to win this thing right now? I mean, it's a long way to go. After when we go feature racing, this is only heat race, and this is not a do or die situation. And we've seen these two make contact in the past. It's not a situation where you really want to, how do they say, risk it for the biscuit here. Keith got to ride smart here and stay within his realm. As Russell Harold rolling along here in 3rd, you see Rob Cassidy behind him in the 68 machine. He's well clear of the 37 of Tim Chapman. Shouldn't see any battles brewing up between those two. We may have one yet, still brewing for the lead as Keith Kincaid clips the wall coming out of 2. Scott wrapping the bottom, so is Keith here. Keith not close now. He's at about that half-second mark, and Scotty could make a little mistake here without really feeling any repercussions for it whatsoever. So as we roll into 3 and 4 here, he's set to see this white flag. He's going to have 1 lap to go, and he's going to be feeling pretty good about this final lap here at the USA International Speedway. Scott going to float it up to the backstretch wall for the final time. Dive it into 3. Keith Kincaid almost clips the inside wall. And as we come out of 4, Scott Tice going to win heat race number 2, followed by Keith Kincaid, Harold, Cassidy, and Chapman. And now you see the checkered flag does wave. So that's another thing now we've just discovered, how we don't see some cars in practice. Well, and the person who Keith owned this replay file that was in, I saw. So Keith's heat race will then have a flag in it. Okay, live and learn, live and learn. 5-minute warm up here. I'm going to grab a drink, and I'll skip some of this. For now, I'll mute myself. Bear with me here. Alrighty here. Let's go ahead. Well, I think I just messed up. I didn't. Alright, you guys better not have cheated here. Okay? You better not have cheated. Because I didn't see who finished there. But we've done this many times, and we knew I was due for a mistake. There, here it is. We've indeed got said mistake. We'll see. 17 seconds. All right. Let's thank our lucky stars. That didn't go worse than I thought it was gonna. And we'll let this roll out here, and we will get ready to look at our feature starting lineup for our little Monday Night Madness Pro late models here at the USA International Speedway. No idea how that ended. I really don't. I trained myself to stare at other things, click buttons away on my side. So you saw how that top three ended. That's on you. I'm clear conscious here. Let's take a look. Starting lineup, row 5 to the outside, the 37 of Tim Chapman. To the inside, the Rhino, and the 71, Chris Reinhold. Row 4 to the outside, the 68 of Rob Cassidy. To the inside, the double nickel of Ben Gunther. Row 3 to the outside, the 19 of Russell Harold. To the inside, the 1K of Joe Canellos. Row 2 to the outside, the 17 of Keith Kincaid. To the inside, the 04, Gary Offit. Row 1 of your SEDEX Short Track Championship, A main to the outside, the 24 of Scott Tyson starting on the pole. The 94 of Gary. Oh my God. I just swapped Greg Parmley and Gary Offit twice. Greg, Gary, you guys are teammates. I swapped your numbers. I hope you get a good kick of it. I hope. 'Cause I'm going to beat myself up about it for a little bit. Now I'm done. But, I was going to beat myself up for longer, but then I just realized, hey, it's just iRacing. You guys will get over it. You guys love me. Let's skip this final pace lap here. We'll get ready to go play. Who doesn't want to do that? Skip to the action. Green flags high. She's ready to fly. 35 laps to play in the clay at the USA International Speedway. Your A main is underway as we're side by side immediately for P2. Gary Offit rolling the 94 on the bottom, and we've got teammates out front. Greg Parmley leads the way. Gary Offit in second here, and remember, we're not going to get help from yellow flags here on the dirt side with the replay, so we will have to kind of keep an eye out on the side, just track momentum. What our ears tell us here, as we're 3 wide for second. Keith Kincaid having to duck back in line. Scott Tice gets into the back of the 94. And Parmley in the outside wall hard, as I don't think a caution flag waves. Oh, tough break there for the 94 of Gary Offit as we continue. Greg Parmley out front. Keith Kincaid battling for second here. Slide job, move on up to P2, the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. Joe Canellos, we saw him with strong warm-up and practice times. Will it translate here for the 1K as he's watching the boys second and third battle it out here? Ooh, Rob Cassidy to the inside. He had heavy damage as well. Gary Offit trying to stay on the lead lap here, but I think he's doomed. The 94 smells it. Gets to the inside. Here come the Sharks. Taking all the blood. Joe Canellos in the outside wall. He loses the right front, and it has become an absolute war of attrition here. Oh, as he gets a tank slap there from Tim Chapman. No right front on it. He's just trying to nurse it around here as we continue to race. Man, it is a junkyard here at the USA International Speedway. We roll off of 6 laps in the books. Keith Kincaid, can he get to the back of your leader in the 04, Greg Parmalee here? Plenty of time, about 28 laps to do it. Here's Joe Canellis, tries to get on pit road. He does, no caution flag waves. We continue. We now get a caution flag. Let's see. We see what it was here. Let's try to rewind, find some things here. I don't know if I'm going to get it. Not a car pulling out on pit road. No. It couldn't have been. I don't think it was Joe. You see, very weird. Well, you win some, you lose some. This one, we're not going to be able to figure out who lost it, but I think a lot of people going to win here who were, you know, a lap or close to going a lap down. Joe Canellis, if he could stay on the lead lap here, that'll be huge, but I don't think he did. I think that put him a lap down. Let's make sure we don't click that forward arrow here. We don't need to jump to the end of the race. Oh, is that the green flag start? I don't see a pace truck going down pit road. And they're not stacked up yet, so... No, just catching up to the pace truck, yeah, because the lights are still on. Okay, that's a little better. I was wondering what was going on here. Oh, there you go. You can see extended the caution. Let's see. Let's let these guys wind up behind the pace truck. All right, lights are off now. We'll be going back green this time. Bye. Greg Parmalee on the bottom, the Flamin' Hot Cheeto on the top shelf. We're going to go trackside here for this restart. Crank it up for the next lap or two. As I shut my mouth. We've got 18 laps to go. 28 laps to go. Wow. Oh, Keith Kincaid, slide job for the lead. Comes across Greg Parmalee, and we've got a new leader, the 17. The Flamin' Hot Cheeto, Keith Kincaid, as he leads the way at the USA International Speedway. Greg Parmalee trying to fend off that Glenn Steyer's Racing 71 machine of the Rhino, Chris Reinhold. I mean, look at that. He even got a little G-Force TV on that sucker with, oh my God, Adam Ross, and I can't think of his partner there. As he tries to get it wound up singing a song on the outside. We go back and take a look here. Russell Harold. Oh, that's Tim Chapman with a slide job over the 55 of Gunther. He's able to park it. Can he drive away? Sliders in front here. Joe Canellis having a little fun here in that 1K. Oh, big contact. Gary Offit muscled down to the inside. He has to tow, and Well, they weren't on the lead lap, so that sucks, but Gary Offit back on pit road as Scott Tice slide job for third. The 71 machine tried to knife back to the bottom, cut underneath, but couldn't find the traction, lost the rear end, and Scott Tice rounds the outside. The the 71 now widening the walls there through 3 and 4. The Rhino. Man might break the horn on the concrete. Upstairs, the 71. Looking handsome, but he's a little too high on the outside. Benjamin Gunther trying to reel back in this 37 of Tim Chapman. Last time around, he's a little quicker than the 37 here. Can he get to him? Taking a peek underneath. Can't do it. The 37 gets the run off the high side. And Keith Kincaid continues to skate away. Parmalee open the door here. Tice almost peeled the lid on the can. Oh, Parmalee gets a little loose going down the front stretch in front of the 24. And Tice gonna move him around here. Greg Parmalee. We saw that one happen live, so Greg probably a little pissed about that at first look. But I don't know if you can. I mean, obviously, you know, he gets into him a little bit there, Scott. But, dude, these things have fenders. That's racing. That is just racing right here and a little bit of net code. But here, you'll see the 04. He's going to clip the wall just a little bit. Okay. He's going to goose it up. And when he does, he comes down, flails sideways in the 24. He's already there. I mean, he's not trying to drill through him here. He's off the gas. You can see the 71 run him down. I mean, just how off pace the 24 is there. Definitely nothing intentional. You know, not going to mean anything coming from the guy upstairs after it happened, but definitely no ill will out of that one, I wouldn't think. At least not my surely far from expert opinion here as we double up and go back racing one more time. And like I say, that's definitely one from in the car. You know, you're mad when it happens, but when you get a chance to actually look at it, you're like, well, maybe. Maybe I shouldn't have been so pissed off as the green flag waves. We're back underway. 19 laps to play here at the USA International Speedway. Oh, 24 in the outside wall hard. I don't know if we're going to get... We do get a caution flag here. We saw it happen there. Scott Tice wrapped it in the outside wall, needed the tow. And that's probably going to be it there for the 24 machine unless he could get that thing back out there in time. But I don't know. This isn't one of those places that really gives you time. There are a few that you can get away with it if you do it pretty quick. Williams Grove being one. Let's see, Scott Tice. Yeah, he's sitting there. That's who's we're hearing rev it in the pits. He's going to try to drop it and get it out of there before he goes a lap down. And he is going to get out just in time as the green flag waves. 18 laps left to play. Oh, he clicked the wrong guy. We're 3 wide there. Chapman, Canellas, Gunther. Chapman stuck in the middle here. Joe working the bottom here. What could have been, and if he could have stayed on the lead lap. Joe Canellas that he's showing. He's got some pace here. But just a couple laps down, and Keith Kincaid right now leading the way. The Rhino in second. Russell Harold running third. Joe Canella is trying to shop upstairs here where Mama hides the cookies. Joe getting a good run. Does he think about making a move? This isn't for position. So the 1K, he's got to behave here. He's got to play nice. Joe Canellas here. Can he get his lap back the good old-fashioned way? Working to the bottom here, the 19. He pulls under here. He's to the door. Full send for the 1K. Slide job. Harold cuts back underneath. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Coming off the 2. Keith Kincaid leads the way. 14 laps to play this time by as the Reinhold tries to reel in the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. See Keith and the Rhino here going down the backstretch. Keith floating up to that outside wall. Chris gonna drive it in deep. Find the money upstairs. Try to hum it down the straightaway. But Keith gets such a good run off the bottom of 4 that he is just starting to check out here over 1 second up the road. Russell Harold holding on to 3rd for the moment here. Is that, remember, that's not a battle for position, but Joe Canellas is giving him all he can handle here. That 1K ready to bark here, but he can't get off the chain here. Stuck right behind the 19. Joe gonna drive it in here. He gets a little bit loose in the slick, side by side through 3 and 4. Can't get the run off, loses the rear end, and just stays stuck behind the 19. Oh, Joe right back underneath him there. As we do your quick scan, you can kind of see, well, that's what I was doing there. I just didn't announce it. For Keith Kincaid, Reinhold, no battles for position. Really anywhere. Tim all by himself here in 4th. Ben Gunther all by himself in 5th. Scott Tice back there in 6th. Just able to stay on the lead lap here. And then, you know, we get back to your leader, Keith Kincaid, who sees 9 laps to go this time by the Flamin' Hot Cheeto. Looking to get the sweep here down in Lakeland, Florida. Let's go ahead. Let's go back to Reinhold here, and let's just show the lap times here from your top 3 at the moment. You can see Kincaid pretty, I mean, that's, you want to talk about, I mean, that's almost a damn near perfect stopwatch. Just Mr. Consistency here, back in the 9s one more time. And you can just see Reinhold, I mean, he'll get closer to him. You can see lap 24, he can find something, but then he just overdrives it a little bit. Now he's to the point where 3/10 off a lap, and man, you just aren't going to make up that kind of time here with 6 laps to go. Keith Kincaid just needs this thing to stay green. Scott Tice back here. He's 4 seconds behind Benjamin Gunther, who's coming off a 2. You can see Scott Tice there entering 2. 5 laps to go. I just don't think it's gonna be enough time. I mean, it's 6 laps for those guys as they're coming to 5 to go right now. Keith coming to get 4 to go this time. And boy, oh boy, let's go back. Gunther, Tice. I mean, Tice is coming. He's got the gap down to about 3 seconds here, but I just don't know if Scott Tice is going to have enough time here. But this will be your closest battle for any spot here on the lead lap. As we'll go on the nose of Reinhold, you can see, I mean, he's not that close. And with 2 laps to go this time by, The Flamin' Hot Cheeto is feeling pretty good about the sweep here in Florida. Rolls the bottom through 1 and 2. Just needs this thing to stay green. The Rhino, 3 seconds back. Harold, 11 seconds back as Tim starts to reel him in with 2 laps to go. Keith Kincaid sees the white flag, final time around. The 17 dives to the bottom through 1 and 2. He could throw it in reverse here. He could stop, sign some autographs, rolls the bottom through 3 and 4. Keith Kincaid does it again, back to back in Florida. He wins at the USA International Speedway, the Rhino P2. And let's see who comes around for the battle for third. It's going to be Harold in the 19, Tim Chapman fourth, Gunther fifth, and Tice bringing home 6th, Canella 7th, Cassidy 8th, Parmalee 9th, and Gary Offit rounds out your field. And now, well, let's see if I can figure something out here. Does my software let me skip laps? I know it does, but I just don't know where said button is. Okay, so we'll just go back. We'll click it back ourselves here. This green flag that whole time to close out. So about right here. Close that back down. Oh, and now it gets rid of our finish. Oh, damn it. Oh, excuse my language. Okay, so we know Keith won. Rhino got second. And who the heck? Harold got third. That's right. Let's see here. Do we have anybody in the Discord? Wait. We've got Rhino down there, and we've got Kincaid. So that makes it easy. That makes it much easier here. Let's go find Chris Reinhold here in the 17 machine. Let's get rid of that dumb grid. Dumb standings that's completely empty. We'll see here if we can go ahead and pull him up. We got the Rhino here in the GSR 71. Chris, Shaggy in the booth, man. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Well, it's just another one of those things where you were great. But man, oh man, that 17 just a little greater here. He was tough to beat tonight, man. Was there anything you could have done to go run him down?
Yeah, I think I needed to settle down a little bit at the end of the race there. I was overdriving it, trying to catch him. Because at one point I was faster than Keith was.
Yeah, and as the track starts to slick up, dude, it is so easier said than done. But when you're going down the front stretch, how hard is it, man, to just not want to mash that thing? When I saw some guys slipping and sliding. Clearly the problem, but man, it's so hard to train yourself to just relax and let it come to you, isn't it?
Yeah, at the beginning there, I couldn't. I was trying to run the bottom, and when the car started getting way too loose, I went to the top because I could just let it all hang out up there.
Yeah, well, it just seemed like obviously the top did start to get a little quicker, but do you think to make it completely come in, maybe a couple more cars need to beat up the bottom just a little bit more? Because, man, Keith was still so good down there. He was finding the grip somehow.
Yeah, Keith always seems to find it. I end up searching a little bit, but I got to the top early in the race, and I made a lot of passes up there. So, and I was comfortable, so I just stayed up there because I knew I could turn off some pretty good laps. Like I got by Scott pretty easy on the outside, and then I was like, yeah, I'm just staying up here.
Well, what do they say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you're coming home on the podium again. That's a hell of a run. I know it's not maybe the spot you want, but man, these are going to add up, and your time's coming. Hell of a run, Rhino. Congratulations on the
Thank
P2,
you.
man. Who you want to thank?
You know, again, I'm going to thank you for doing this for us. You know, everybody from my family and my friends that watch the broadcast, they all say that they love watching it. They can't wait to see the next one.
Well, you know, you guys, like I say, man, you're a big part of that. You guys going out here, you put on good shows, good, clean, hard racing, and Chris, you're rewarded with another podium. Hell of a job, man. Can't wait to talk to you next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Shag.
Chris Reinhold bringing home P2, and now we'll get to talk to that man. Well, we haven't talked to him in about a half hour or so. Keith Kincaid, this one, not as easy for you. You know, you had to work. You didn't start out front, but, man, you were quick, and you were one of those that you were smart about it. You know, you wait for that guy to make a little hiccup, and then you jump to the inside. I mean, how important is it to just kind of stalk and wait like that on a racetrack that really at the beginning, man, you know, when you're making those passes, not very beat up. I mean, it's tough to make a pass on a racetrack like that, but and you found a way to get it done again.
Yeah, it's just, you know, patience, and like you said, waiting for that mistake. The guys are all such good drivers; they drive so clean. You just gotta kind of wait for the mistake. Yeah, I put myself in a little bit of a predicament on qualifying. I had a really good second lap going, and I got down in the grass and got me an invalid lap. So had to start a little deeper in the back than I wanted to.
I was wondering how, because I mean, dude, on your times it said you got a purple sector and a green. So yeah, that didn't make any sense to me. Okay, so the 1X there, I'm guessing, was that in turn 1 and 2?
Yeah, 1 and 2, and it didn't even give me a 1X, which was crazy. There was no 1X. It was still a 0X for the run, but it just counted it as invalid. So,
man, that's definitely. I mean, well, you got to rewatch the heat race there, but I mean, you saw this is no shot. I can't remember who finished in front of you. I think it was Gary Offit, but clearly, I mean, you know, you're the quicker car, but on those heat races, man, when they are not beat up, just talk to us. I know I mentioned it a little bit there in the feature, but even more so in the heat race, man, you cannot pass unless that guy in front of you makes a mistake. I mean, am I correct?
It is very hard to pass. The cars are just so close because, you know, we all run to fixed setup. We've got the same horsepower. The track's, you know, nice and green with that bite. It's just hard to get that run on somebody if they're hitting their marks.
Well, man, you know, we're watching you go low and slow right now. You were master of that slider line here tonight, and you brought it home with, you know, not so big of a lead here, only 4 seconds on the dirt side, but hell of a run tonight, Keith. You go down to Lakeland, Florida. You sweep at the USA International Speedway. Congratulations, brother. Who do you want to thank?
Thank you, Shaggy. Yeah, I want to thank Cenex team, all of our drivers that's coming out this year to race with us. A great group of guys. If you're out there, you're part of the iRacing community, you're 50 and over, you won't find a better group of guys to come out and race with. So come out and race with us and have fun on Mondays and Wednesday nights, and we'd love to see you out on the track with us.
Well, hey, hell of a run, Keith. Congratulations, man. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you, Shaggy.
Keith Kincaid bringing home the win here, and can vouch. You want some of the cleanest racing for gentlemen over 50. You get in touch here at racemrl.com, I think is the website. You can go to the beginning of the video and see the website, but I think it is racemrl.com. And get yourself signed up. There are a bunch of other leagues, too. I'm telling you, best of the best on iRacing. Mess around here with the MRL boys. So if you were looking for a true test, this is the place to do it. I'm Zach Chapman, ShaggyTV, saying so long. Have a good night.